back to OATS Uncut, Orator Academy Talks, where we are unfiltered, unedited, and uncut. Today, we are going to be talking about communication and how communication has changed over generations and how it's so different. Like, if I want to text my parents right now, my texting is way more different than how they respond.
That is true. I'm glad you brought it up because communication has evolved over the generations. I talked to my mother, and first of all, I'm glad that she's able to use the phone, though she will never text. So it's one-sided communication if I'm texting her, but at least I can talk to her and she's comfortable at least picking the phone up and talking. But she gets very rattled when the call sometimes drops because of a bad connection. And when I call her back, then she has a million questions. What happened? What went wrong? But how? I was just talking. I didn't touch anything. Mama, the connection may be slightly weaker. I don't know, Mama, what happened at your end. But she expects me to know everything that goes wrong with that phone conversation. But the other thing that she has extreme trouble with is when, you know how we live in this life, our life and our world currently is that, okay, you think of something, you must do it now. Execute quickly. So she and I will be having a conversation where I'll be saying that, oh, I have to meet so-and-so. And she'll say, yeah, tomorrow call them at around 11 o'clock. It's a good time to call them. And then decide when you want to see them. And I would have already texted them while she's telling me what to do tomorrow. And by then they would have also responded saying, hey, yeah, 11 o'clock tomorrow works. Let's meet, come for coffee, something like that. She gets very upset that this is no way to communicate. You must first call tomorrow between breakfast and lunch, which is a good time, and then decide what you need to do. So do you think the communication in our generation, I mean, you are a different generation than me, but in this current time has become super fast and we expect things to just move like this?
Yes. Same thing with my mom. She'll say, oh, just text them a little bit later. And then I just text them like as soon as possible because they don't have to respond right now. They can wait a bit. So it's definitely different. And also I feel like they don't understand how we communicate. Like as soon as I come home from school, I start talking to my friends on FaceTime. I do everything with them. I always study, or we're not even doing anything. We just sit there and we just stay on call. And then they don't obviously understand that, and they just say, cut the call, do something else. But it's definitely different.
I think it was also funny because, see, I have lived through the times where we didn't have a phone. And then we got the landline after waiting for a couple of months, having put in your application, and then you got the phone after a couple of months. And when the phone finally happened, it was just unreal that you could talk to your friends after school. And so, like you said, I would come home and I would have this one friend I would call and spend half an hour, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour over the phone. And my mother would be so confused. Didn't you just see her? Didn't you just hang together? How much do you need to talk to each other? But I think it was, of course, then, best friends talk a lot. But it's also that excitement that that person is accessible to you after you have met them face to face. So my mother also thinks it's rude to text, by the way. She thinks it's very impersonal. She says she thinks that picking up the phone and calling is far better. And on the same note, while she thinks it's improper to text and somebody like that, she is from that generation who will not call to check. She is from that generation who will show up at your door and say, oh, I was thinking of you. I haven't seen you in a long time. And for us right now, it's a no-no.
Yeah.
Right? You must let the other person know that you're dropping in. We are not used to the doorbell ringing and us not knowing who's coming.
And going back to what you were saying about the texting, it's so hard to show emotions on text. They can be so two-sided. Like if you say just plain okay, I never say that because I feel like that's so mean if I just write okay. I always add an extra K at the end, or maybe in more exclamation points. I don't know. I just do not feel like it's just sufficient enough. It's so hard. In calling, you get to see you have that tone in the voice, but
that is true. So I have a problem with the okay. You said you write okay and then an additional K. People don't even write the O.
Yeah.
People just write the K. And sometimes it'll be KK.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I find that rather rude. Okay, I mean, why do we have? It's been a work in progress for me to get used to the IDK and the IKR and what else is there?
Just writing you. I
You,
got
yeah.
to IGTG.
Yeah. But in a time where actually artificial intelligence is picking up on what you want to say, right?
Yeah.
I'm driving somewhere, I'm getting late, I just type on and it picks up my way. On my way.
Yeah.
So it's a great tool. At the same time, I'm thinking, you end up sending wrong texts sometimes because you didn't pay attention. And the auto spell or autocorrect or artificial intelligence typed something that it felt like.
Yeah. And sometimes it even gets it wrong. Like my
Several
friend,
times.
yeah, my friend wanted to write coming soon because she was coming over, but it kept translating into coming Saanvi, and she was so mad. And it could go wrong. Like let's say you didn't want to say something and it says that, it's really messed up.
And also I feel sometimes you can't tell the tone of voice, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell the tone of voice from the way the text is written?
No, I cannot. It's hard. You have to really know the person.
I'm very worried about being misinterpreted.
Me too.
Right? I don't know. I'd rather just... I'm also a vocal person, so I'd like to call and listen to the other person's voice and read between the lines and not just take it for granted. And also I don't want to be misread because I don't want anybody to just assume the tone of voice that I may have had while typing the text. Though there are ways of showing it, right? You write uppercase and you feel like somebody's yelling at you.
Yeah.
So that is very worrisome. But we were talking about the abbreviations, the IKRs and the IDKs. The worst is the LOL.
Yes.
The LOL is tricky because in my generation at least, there are still some people who think LOL is lots of love.
Oh.
They mean well. But they've used it in wrong places. For example, there was one message of condolence being offered, and the lady who was writing the message of condolences, she actually wrote at the end, "I'm so sorry for your loss, etc., etc." And then she said, "Lots of love." Oh, LOL. Which she meant was lots of love. And then I happened to be copied on that message, so I reached out to her and I said, "Listen, you need to know, you're trying to be cool and keeping up with the generation, but unfortunately this is being misplaced. So they know what you're saying. Hopefully they'll understand that you didn't mean laugh out loud." So it's a struggle for us to keep up with you guys.
Yeah. And with all of the words and new brain rot forming at school, it's even I don't know what happened.
New what forming at school?
There's this term brain rot. I don't even know what it is. It's just
brain rot.
It's just random words that people are creating, and I don't even understand half of them.
I think Collins and Merriam-Webster need to redefine the dictionary.
Yes, definitely.
There should be a dictionary of your generation. Words that were and words that are.
Yeah, I'm scared. Like my little brother, he already has been catching on to these things. At school they've been talking, and I'm scared for that generation. Actually, wait, we are Gen Z.
You are Gen Z.
Then what's coming next? Gen Alpha?
I have no idea.
Let's go with Gen Alpha.
I just know that this generation is very old.
Yeah. So
what kind of words is he using?
Well, I mean, he just catches on whatever he watches on TV, which is also another problem because he just goes on YouTube, watches the most random things ever. Because when we were little, we watched shows and actual TV. Now they're just watching YouTube channels and all of this. It's not good.
See, I remember when my children were little, at around 7 o'clock, we used to get this show on TV called Wheel of Fortune, where you could... People were picking up letters and vowels and consonants and trying to guess what the word was or what the phrase was. And somehow both my kids were very enamored by that show. The lady with the big letters on the wall, and somebody would say, "I'd like to buy a vowel, A," and then she would go touch wherever the A was. So I would play that show while feeding them dinner. So they still talk about it, that I overfed them at dinner time, because I would turn on Wheel of Fortune and have them watch while I kept putting food in their mouth. So I tried to keep it clean in the sense it was a good show, And I was grateful that they were happy watching it and they were intrigued with the words. But at the same time, like you said, Viraj, your brother, has access to YouTube now. YouTube has no limits. No limits. So where does he access YouTube, by the way? On a tablet or something?
No, it comes on the TV, but it's okay now because we've switched him to YouTube Kids, which is better and,
restricted
more,
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is.
Because that's another problem. If you are not good at spelling and you're typing something that you're looking for and you type something incorrectly, it will just pick up something outlandish. It's happened with me. I was typing something on the URL bar and I probably mistyped and a whole weird thing opened up and I was just scrambling to shut because it was not the page I was looking for. But then that's very scary. If a child was in my place and, I knew how to get out of those things, but a child may not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is scary. It is scary. And what else, Saanvi?
I mean, also with grandparents too, like how they communicate is different. Because on WhatsApp, I feel like everyone just keeps sending videos. And my grandparents, they just forward me the most random videos every single day. So, but it's nice though, I guess.
That's a way of communication.
Yeah.
I actually tell people, initially when this whole business of forwarding messages started, now I think it's extremely annoying, by the way, because it's good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And especially if you're family on the other end of the globe, it's morning for them, it's night for you. Yeah. So you end up saying good morning from them at their time and then good morning from people here at your time. So it just becomes too much to deal with. But I used to tell people, when I forward you a joke or a song or something interesting, maybe a comedy clip, well, it's something of value that I thought I stumbled upon and I'd like to share with you because I think you'll appreciate. And another big reason is that I thought of you.
Yeah.
So that forward is not just a random forward, it's about me missing you. So, that's what the grandparents are doing. It's a way of sending love to the grandchild.
Yeah, he sends me all these videos about art and people playing instruments and sometimes volleyball. So, yeah.
He's trying to work with your interests, right? Because he knows you play volleyball and maybe art too, right?
Yeah.
So, that's grandparents' way of showing love. It's so sweet, actually, right? That they are trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but on that note, my mother, who's also in India, her cable broke down and, she was quite rattled because at this age, that's the main mode of entertainment because she's not so much on technology. So I actually sent her some YouTube clips of movies, the whole movie. But that's another thing that she's not going to be able to watch on a small screen.
Yeah.
We can, but she can't. We are used to doing that because we download movies on our devices before a flight.
Yes.
Sometimes, right? And then watch in flight.
Yes.
But do you think that with this technology, the personal person-to-person communication in person is taking a hit?
Yes, it definitely is. Because now people are just thinking about texting and they don't really care about what's happening online. In real life, it's kind of hard for them to communicate. Like if you're in a room, I feel like everyone's now more shy and they're not as confident. Because on text, you could sound however you want. But you actually have to try in real life.
But you were very kind. You said shy and not so confident. I think outrightly awkward.
Yeah.
I think some kids I find are outright awkward. Grown-ups too, actually. Because sometimes I end up working with parents too. Parents of my students. Because they're very good at what they do in terms of work. But didn't get in this race to establish themselves and to accomplish what they want to do in life. The personal communication takes a hit, person to person, and they don't know how to be in a room in the presence of another person or how to be assertive. You remember we were doing that exercise the other day when you guys were just saying something and I told you that if you find a gap, if you are speaking and I find a little gap, I'm going to jump in and take that space.
Yeah.
Because that is what the world is right now, right? Because you slack off a little bit and somebody else will take that spot from you. So communication is actually becoming more demanding too, I feel.
Yeah.
People are not as patient and probably not as respectful of other people's time and space and airtime. So I'm very proud of the people who are still trying to work on this skill, because it's really never too late. It's really never too late.
And that goes into communication at work and trying to make yourself better. And even at school, there isn't communication by like verbal communication, but there's so much non-verbal communication that goes through it. Like if I'm at school, I can immediately tell if a teacher likes me or hates me. But thankfully they like me. But it's hard because you don't want to, even as a teacher, you don't want to come off as, oh, like I'm immediately favoriting you, but you also don't want them to hate you. So it's important to learn these
Favoriting, is that a word?
It is now.
It is now.
It is now.
I'm telling you, we need a new dictionary of yours that favoriting you. It's interesting. I mean, I get the gist of what you're trying to say. Favoriting you. All right. No, but that's right. As a teacher, you have to be very mindful. So in my class, did you ever get a feel that I am very irritated with someone or I really like someone?
No, I think you're good with that.
I'm pretty stable.
Yeah. I mean, you've been doing this for so many years, you've gotten the skill.
No, because I'm also very mindful of sensitivities like that. Because I see that in the older sibling, younger sibling situation. I see that with teacher and student situation. And for me as a teacher, I think I should not let anybody feel that I care for them less.
Yeah.
Just like a parent would, right? You can't distinguish between your two children. Sometimes when people, what a stupid question, pardon my language, but if somebody says, who's your favorite child? I think that's a very incorrect, inadequate question. You once actually, you said that in class or somebody else said that. You talk more about your son or more about your daughter or something of that sort, you commented. And I actually made a mindful note of that as well. Because it is, for me, as a parent, they're both equal. For me, as a teacher, all my students, yes, somebody may be moving faster, somebody may be struggling, or somebody may be outright not being attentive. But then I can push them, but I cannot give them that feeling that they don't matter to me. I just feel that if somebody's coming here with giving me their time, I need to do my due diligence. So, but unfortunately, sometimes in the larger scheme of things in schools and all, sometimes that vibe does come through. If a teacher likes somebody better, somebody more over you.
Yeah.
I was sensitive to that myself. I knew when the teacher did not like me for whatever reasons unknown to me. So I was a very good student. I did very well in school. But there are always sometimes some teachers who are, they're your fans.
Yeah.
And some teachers who are trying to burst your bubble.
Didn't you say that your mom was the school gym teacher?
Oh, don't remind me.
How was that? With like communication, like the other kids, did they like
Traumatic.
her?
Traumatic. I still apologize to my peers when I meet them, because my mother, being a gym teacher, was a very tough one. First of all, she always had this aggressive tone of voice, and still does. She can still yell at me, and I'll still have to listen. But again, I guess her job demanded her to have that tone of voice. But in that generation, teachers could slap you.
Oh.
She was one of those. But at the same time, that generation, teachers could slap you, but then that generation was also the one, at least in India where I grew up, that, you touch the feet of the elders.
Yeah.
So those students who went through her, when they came back, just randomly for whatever reason to school, or they came back with their children, they would actually come and touch her feet. And I thought that was just extremely humbling.
Yeah. And
no matter how much I may have disapproved of my mom's temper and way of conduct, as a gym teacher, I think she must have done something right for the students to come and hug her and touch her feet.
And just respect them.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays people don't respect their parents as much either, because now it's just like, oh, your parents, your best friend. Like, it's okay. They won't mind. Or, like, we definitely don't touch their feet, like, these days. I feel like that respect has kind of faded over time.
Yes, yes. So when my family growing up, it was a given that daughters don't touch feet.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, but then suddenly you get married and you're a daughter-in-law. But daughter-in-law has to touch feet. So I remember I was very awkward and uncomfortable because you're bending. And then I also was learning classical music not too long ago actually. And we had this guru who was God, revered like a god in the world of Indian classical music. And amazing. I'm just so blessed to have been in his presence. So after class, the culture was that after a class you go and touch your guru's feet.
Yeah.
And my classmates knew how uncomfortable I would be, so they used to bet, is she not? Is she not? But I think that experience also kind of made me a little more humble, that it's okay to bend. It's okay to bend in front of someone who's far superior than you. Doesn't have to be, it could be your parent, maybe not your parent, maybe a teacher, maybe a guru, maybe just somebody you look up to. So on that note, I think I'm going to start that culture in my class.
Oh. Okay.
Please expect a memo going out.
Yeah.
We're starting a new culture in class.
Yeah.
No, it is very humbling. And also it's good for your spine if you bend a little.
Oh. There's sports for that.
So just count that as a sport. You're bending. So it was funny because the touching feet was full touching feet, both feet. Then it became, at least in the family structure, in the extended family structure, just bending a little, not even going full down.
Oh.
Like that. The gesture, touching feet like that. But yeah, I don't really touch feet of people anymore. And but again, in the world of classical music, if I am around those people, I will probably, because that's the culture.
Yeah.
I believe in following the culture.
Yeah.
I've been enough of a rebel. What else?
Nothing much about communication.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Life in general?
Nothing in life either. Everything's fine. Oh, I'm going to California for FBLA. It's a club, Future Business Leaders of America. And a part of the reason I got there was for my presentation with my friends, and I used communication. And they said that we were really, really good communicators, and that's part of the reason we got into nationals in the first place.
And who are the people who are going in your group?
Aisha Agarwal and Ava Azizi. Shout out to you guys.
Ava, Aisha, and you. So
Yes.
all three my students. Yay.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun. We were before we went into the room, we were practicing. We were like, okay, eye contact, no ums, no likes. Remember their name to maybe mention that at the end. So it was nice.
Yes, I think remembering all of that is important, because eye contact, you've got to be brave to have eye contact, but at the same time, you're not just doing it to show your bravado. It's also to make the other person feel like you recognize them, you are respectful, and they're not that horrible to look at. So you're acknowledging their presence.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing. Eye contact is important. It makes you also realize that there is actually genuine warmth in their eyes. We just assume that people will look at us with those judgy eyes, and the eyes are not judgy really. People want us to succeed. It's the inner demons that we carry with us.
Yeah.
The world around us is not so bad as we imagine it to be.
Yeah.
So Future Business Leaders of America, what do you do in that club?
Well, you holds many fundraisers. You learn about business in the real world, which is really important. And actually, like, Livingston has a really good middle school chapter. Not many schools have this good of one, or even have one at all. But in the high school is really good too. I want to consider joining that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like it's fun. It's good for college too. In nationals, it's good for bonding socially. There are so many kids of every state, and then you get to go and see them, and it's a really good experience.
I think it's also the exposure, like you said, to the real world, going out of your comfort zone. You're not just going out of Livingston, not just going out of your school, but different state and many more students.
Mm-hmm.
That's commendable. That's commendable. And like you said, real life business world.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to be when you're older?
I want to go into medicine, maybe be a doctor, because I love talking to people, and I love helping them especially. Also, I think biology is really interesting. So, yeah, and I will definitely use communication in whatever I do.
Is there a reason why you chose to go into medicine?
I think, first of all, in 7th grade, we started biology, because before it was just a mix of everything. And then this is the year we actually started it. And I thought it was really interesting. I never learned about any of this before. And it actually, it blowed my mind how cool this was. I knew I wanted to go into there at all. And then I also really love helping people. I just love teaching anyone anything. So I thought that would be the perfect mix.
And what line of medicine?
I'm not sure yet, but maybe cancer. Helping.
Oncology?
Yeah. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, cancer is becoming like common cold, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody around, somebody or the other, everybody knows somebody who has either suffered or is suffering currently. But to your point, there is a lot of research and there are a lot of treatments that have come up. I know people personally who were told that the cancer had spread so badly that they would probably not survive beyond 3 months, and it's been over 10 years and they're still there.
Aww.
Yes, it's great. My own aunt had cancer of the blood that went into her bones, and so she had multiple surgeries at an older age, and she survived.
Yay.
So it's great. So yes, I think there's another. I want you to look into Parkinson's too, even though it's not cancer, but it's a neurological condition.
Yeah.
But now that's what I see rampant right now. I unfortunately know too many people who are now suffering from Parkinson's. It's really heartbreaking to me, because sometimes you hear of things happening to other people. You don't expect them to hit you so close that you directly know people who are suffering. And a bunch of my close friends are now suffering from Parkinson's.
Aww.
And it's shattering. It's shattering. So if you have to, either find a cure to Parkinson's or please pursue the seat of the president of the country. Nothing in between.
Yes.
It's about time we had a female leader, Saanvi.
Yes.
So
I will be
future
president.
business leader, future leader,
Future president.
future leader of the country. Not
Yes.
just business leader.
I will be president.
Yes.
Yes.
Manifest it. There's power in manifestation.
Yes.
If you have to think of something, think good. Because
Yeah.
that's what you can control. The outcome you can't.
Yes.
But the imagination and hope you can. The anticipation. All right.
Okay. And on that note, thanks for tuning in to OATS Uncut. OATS out.
Thank you for tuning in. Stay well, stay safe. Remember to love and to laugh and have a blast. We shall meet again soon.